Hi, everyone. I wanted to give you and wish you all a welcome to Math 98. Most of you have already gotten started and you may have already been getting yourself familiar with WAMAP. I know that for some of you, you've already used WAMAP in the past, so this is just more of the same and you're pretty familiar with it. For others of you, this may be the first time you've ever used it. And so I wanted to kind of just give you a tour of WAMAP, show you some of the features, and kind of give you some strategies to use as we start this quarter so we can start off right. So I'm going to share my screen here. And there we go. Okay. So this is what it looks like. For you, it's going to look a little different because you have fewer options over here on the left. But this is the basic view of our course. The first thing I want to point out is the office hours, which are here at the top. I'm going to be holding quote unquote office hours every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11. I encourage you to stop by and at least introduce yourself, say hi. It'd be nice to meet you. But the main purpose and in the future, but I am saying actually, I would love it if you would just come by and say hi at this point, just as we're starting out the quarter. But the reason I hold these office hours is to help answer questions that you're running into. So I have access to a whiteboard in there so I can actually show you how to solve certain problems if you're running into just a wall. And just if you have general questions, all right? So it'd be like stopping by my office. If you need to have an office hour outside of that time, that can be arranged. Just send me a message, and all your messages here you can find over here. Okay, here I have like all the messages and my replies, but you can send me a message there. In fact, this is the best way to email me rather than through Canvas, though I do get Canvas stuff as well. So this would be like your first level of contacting me. The second would be to use the Canvas thing because I'm checking that every day. I teach also at Tacoma Community College, and they're not in WAMAP for the particular course I'm teaching this quarter. So I'm constantly checking Canvas because that's where they're messaging me. So, all right, this should take you to a it should take you to a free option. I had a student who said that it wasn't allowing them to do it for free. So let me know if that's not true. But supposedly this is supposed to be a free option for students to use. It's an online version of the calculator. Normally we can, for this class, you have the ability to rent the calculator through the school for like 15 or 20 bucks. But because of COVID and all that, they're not allowing people on campus. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more, but this is supposed to give you that option there. The other thing I want to point out here is the questions forum. This is a forum where you can post a question. And sometimes students will message me directly, which is great as well, with questions. And generally, what I try to do is if I spend a lot of time and I think it's a question that more people will have besides the person who actually asked it. And in a classroom, I know that anytime somebody raises their hand and asks a question, there's usually a dozen other people who had the same question but didn't ask, right? So in a sense, if I reply to somebody's question with a detailed answer, and I think that question would be a good question to share, then I will cut and paste it into the forum. And this is one question that somebody had about one of the problems. When I do this, I do keep the person who asked the question or messaged me anonymous. So I'm not going to include your name in there. But that's just kind of like asking a question in class. I'm going to explain it to the whole class. And so that's why I will always post those here. But here you can actually post questions that you run into. So you don't have to wait for me to answer. You can actually have some of your classmates give you a hand. And I hope that we can make this experience something where you feel always comfortable about asking questions. In fact, asking questions is sometimes the quickest way to make sure that you are a successful learner. Asking questions is not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. But it does take courage to get out there and be the one who raises their hand and asks those questions. But hopefully your curiosity, if I see students with curiosity to the point where they're gonna not be satisfied with not understanding something, and they're gonna put themselves in an uncomfortable position of vulnerability to which is what, you know, asking questions is, that's something I want to encourage you to do, because that shows that you are serious about learning. So rather than waiting on me to respond, this is another option for you. And you will most likely get just as good of a response from myself or from somebody else. I will also be looking in here for questions that have gone unanswered. So I kind of give students an opportunity to reply to those questions before I'll jump in. But eventually I do jump in and answer those as well. So use the questions forum here as you're doing your work. All right, then I have kind of these lined up by topic really. And eventually you're gonna see the whole calendar here populated with the assignments. I just haven't done that yet. But so there's two ways to access your homework. You can access it up here, and there's kind of benefits for both. Here I'm also going to have the links for the videos, right, that are associated with what you're going to be working on. So the first one that I've made was for functions, and I have it posted here. That's going to be something you start working on after next Monday. So I'm sorry, that's not the video. Here's the video. This is actually lecture notes, and there is a video in there, but so this is the video. If you click on the plus here, it kind of brings the video up here in WAMAP. If you click on it, it's going to take you to the YouTube link. But anyway, it is embedded in here, so you don't necessarily have to go to YouTube to watch it, but they are located there. And so this is just a link to that. And then these are the sort of assignments that go underneath that idea. And you'll see more videos popping up in here as we go. They'll either be personal videos that I recorded, or they'll be videos of others. Just because I want to be able to allow you guys to have these videos, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with the pace of making them. So if I feel like there's a good enough video out there that somebody else has already done, I'm not going to recreate the wheel. But I do like making my own videos because I feel like there's things that I like to emphasize, maybe that other people don't. So in those cases, I'm going to make my own. But regardless, those are kind of your lesson videos. Do those, you know, before you start working on the homeworks that are associated with them. And you may see some of these. I may go through and kind of rename, instead of just homework 1, 2, 3, 4, like give them topics. So you may see those names change. This is kind of a system that I'm building as we're using it. So we're kind of in this plane, and we're building the plane as we're flying. But I try to keep enough ahead of you that you won't fall out of the plane. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to point out, the other way that you can access your assignments that is sometimes a little bit easier, just a little more direct, is to just access them through the calendar. When you click on a calendar date, if you see an assignment on that date, which is homework, or there's this weird lockdown browser check thing, the actual assignments appear beneath the calendar, okay? And and you can access them right there. So when you see a homework assignment or an icon on a date, you know that there are things coming due that day, right? And I've tried to space this out so that stuff is generally coming due on Fridays and Tuesdays. That kind of gives 3/2 days in between them. I think it's like 3 and 4 in between. So you never want to just only do homework on those days, right? I'm trying to pace it out a little bit so it's not all on a single day, because I do have people that tend to do that. You want to look ahead at what's coming due. For example, today's Friday when I'm recording this. And so you want to look at what's coming due that next Tuesday, and that's what you want to be working on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, right? At the end of Tuesday, you're actually going to take a test over over these homeworks that are also due at the same time, right? And you want to give yourself an hour, because there's an hour time limit on that, to do that. And so you don't want to just do all this stuff on Tuesday, right? Think about us meeting as a class. Generally, we'd be meeting daily, right? Going over lectures, you're doing your homework. And so if you choose to put it off to that day and just only work on it Tuesday, or only the day before, you're going to run into problems, because you're not going to give yourself the time it takes to really work through and learn this stuff. So yeah, so don't save it all for Friday and Tuesday. And I can look and see if you're having problems. The first thing I do is I look and see, all right, what are their habits? What are they doing? What are their practices? And I can go through and I can look at, all right, what days are they logging in? What are they clicking on? How long are they on? I can look at your clicking history within WAMAP and kind of see those things. So it's not like I don't want you to feel like Big Brother's watching you, but people's habits are the biggest reason sometimes that they will struggle. And they're like, well, I don't get it. Yeah, well, that's why you're in this class. Of course you don't get it. But what you need to do is to give yourself time enough to get it, right? And you're not always going to get it right away. And so that's why we ask questions. That's why you can look at outside resources. We have tutoring available through peers. So use those resources as well. And if you have questions, please come to me with them. I'm happy to help you as much as I can. So that's our calendar. And so the first, today, in fact, we have this lockdown browser check, and there's this long detailed thing. There's also some support. This is dealing with HonorLock. And HonorLock is the browser that you're going to use for tests. And the date that the tests are on, those are the days that you can access those tests. By default, I have them from 6 to midnight on the date. So our first test is from 6 to midnight. If you try to go into here right now, it's going to ask you for a password, which I'm not going to give you, because I'll never give that to you, because you have to actually access it through Canvas. So I'm going to quickly just pop over to Canvas here. And let's see, where am I? No, that's not it. Okay, this is a different class, but I'm going to go down to your class, Math 98. I'm not going to go through the whole process here, but I just want you to see it. So you'll see the HonorLock tab here. This is how you're going to access the test, okay? You're going to go through this tab. And in fact, this whole assignment that's due today, which is the tab we're on here, is just a practice. The HonorLock is a practice for you to do a test, but all I have is like 1 or 2 questions in there for you to answer. And so it's just a way for you to download and use the browser in an assignment that's worth like a point or 2, all right? So once you go into there and you go through all those steps, you can see all the steps are laid out in this big long deal here. And there's also a video you can watch, and rather than have to deal with that, reading through and doing all those steps. It's just somewhere in here, there's a link for a video. Okay, The other thing I want to mention is late passes. All of you should have 5 late passes when you sign up for this course. And the late passes will add 24 hours to your due dates. Though I believe I have it set for you to click on them at any time. The default, which I'm pretty sure is not this, but generally, if I don't have that setting where you can click on it at any time, you have to click on it before the due date and time. But I believe that I have it set for you to click on even after the due date. But it'll add 24 hours to your due date. You only have 5 of them, so you want to be very careful about using them all up at the very beginning. Because after that, for you to change the due date, I'm going to take off 1%. Now, to access the late passes, generally what you're going to see is down here, since I'm a teacher, I'm not in the class, I haven't been given any late passes, but you should be able to see it right next to the assignment link, both in the blocks and here on your screen. It should actually, there should be a blue link right here that says use late pass. If you click on it, it'll add 24 hours to your due date. If you accidentally click on something like a late pass, as soon as you click on it, it changes where its placement is on the calendar and changes the due date. That same link that said use late pass should now say unused late pass. So if you accidentally click on it and the due date hasn't hit yet, you can unuse it and it'll reset it, okay? That's just for like, maybe you clicked on it because you thought you weren't gonna finish it and then you ended up having time to get back and finish it. So you can unuse it as long as you click on the unused before the original due date passes, okay? All right, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I just wanted to give you this quick tour through this. I look forward to getting to know all of you and to help you through this as much as I can. Please be patient with me. We're all kind of learning how to do this together. This particular, I've taught online many, many times. However, Math 98, for this particular one, I had not taught before. And so, like I said, I'm kind of building the site as we go here. And so we're learning a little bit together. But I'm excited to be your teacher this quarter, and I look forward to working with you and helping you be successful. See you soon.